Hey, Patty, I was reading your writing. You're very welcome, of course. Um, so good job. This makes a lot of sense right here, and I think that we can take a look at this and really see this is a more effective ad because this one doesn't have a visual focal point, and that is something that creates an enormous amount of stress for the viewer. As viewers don't like to make decisions. Viewers like to be led through the composition. They like to know exactly where you want them to look first, second, third, etc. And that's why I find this image to be so visually uncomfortable, is because it's at such a distance. There is no focal point. Therefore, these little figures of the people, they become the focal point. However, they're spread sporadically through the composition, so the eye ends up doing this, kind of bouncing around, not knowing where to go, and that's not a good situation. This is a much more effective ad. As a matter of fact, I've got this up here. I'm not real sure why this white little bar is over here, but make sure that there's nothing over there that was selected to add to the, sometimes if there's a stray point outside the artboard, the saving it to JPEG or PDF will pick up that point and add it. Though you don't see it, it just adds to the white space around the composition. So make sure that that's the situation. So we don't want that white bar there. So as I said, it's a much more effective ad simply because the background image does have a focal point associated with it. So it immediately alleviates the stress of the viewer saying, wait, I don't know where to look. You see what I'm saying? Okay, a couple of things I would recommend here. I think this is a little problematic, the fact that you've got these two different color type boxes here. Again, as the viewer doesn't know which one's more important, they both seem important, but they're different color. That means something is different about one than the other. And now I'm starting to freak out because I can't figure it out. Now I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's the mental process that the mind goes through for the viewer when things aren't structurally sound in any visual composition. So we don't want the viewer to go through that kind of stress. We want the viewer to be very comfortable as they peruse through the ad. So a couple of things I think that can really improve the ad here in that regard is this. Number one, I would remove, we're going to move this body copy right here, okay? And we're going to take the headline and subhead and we're going to move it down. Watch my cursor somewhere right about there for that whole thing right there, okay? Left align is fine right as it is, okay? Then what I would recommend that we do is come down here and take this body copy, take the masked image and reduce the size, okay? Then what you're gonna do is create two text boxes, one here and one of equal size right next to it. Format this paragraph in this, and then this one and this. So you'll have two columns body copy, and you won't have this unusual kind of stress associated with this different presentation and the viewer wondering why they're different and what they should be doing to understand those differences. Okay, so again, and other than that, I think it's a great ad. I really do. I think now it's really difficult to tell the quality of the background image. So if you want to shoot me the PSD of the background image, I can take a look at it. Right now, it looks like it's a little bit low quality, but it's hard to tell with a JPEG. Also, it looks like to be a little bit washed out, meaning that we could increase the contrast. But again, it could be the way that the JPEG is compressing the image. So I'd like to see the PSD if you wouldn't mind. We can go ahead and check that. So I'd like to see those changes reflected in the ad. I think it's going to be a gorgeous ad once you do make those changes. I think that those will definitely increase visual and typographic hierarchy as well as visual harmony. And I think it'll be a more effective ad. Okay, so if you go ahead, if you want to make those changes, resubmit, go ahead. We'll make some final comments, make sure we're heading in the right direction. If you elect not to resubmit, make sure that you reflect these changes in your final submission, which is coming up here in a couple of short weeks. And I think about finalizing this and getting it back so we can make comments, just make sure we're heading in the right direction. And the reason that's important is because we're going to base the banner ad on the magazine ad. So in a perfect world, the magazine ad is done, set, ready to roll. Then we start compiling the banner ad. Okay, fantastic, good adjustments. If you have any questions at all, of course, I'm right here. Please let me know. Thank you very much.